Okay, today is the big day. Today we are going to talk about why I shut down my $2.5 million a year side hustle. So let's go back 10 years. 10 years ago, I ran across a company that did 3-day deals. So what they did is they would advertise your product, then you would gather all the orders, they'd send you the orders, you would package up whatever you were selling and send them out to the customers. Okay, so this company was called Jane.com. So when I originally first started, I thought, well, our young adult children are going to need help with some college, and I'm very entrepreneurial. I've started 3 or 4 different businesses, had multiple ranges of success, some failures, some very, very lucrative businesses and fields. But I got a little carried away with this one, and I'm going to tell you why. So 10 years ago, I started selling on Jane. I did jewelry, I ordered things from China, brought them in, resold them, and shipped them out. About 5 years ago, Jane.com decided that you needed to ship within 2 business days because they were competing against Amazon, who could also ship everything in 2 business days. And in today's society, the consumer wants product immediately and they don't want to wait for it. So you were required to ship the items within 2 days, meaning we had to start bringing inventory into our garage so that we actually had the inventory on hand and could ship within 2 days. In the meantime, I had been finding different vendors, a lot of home decor, kids items, different types of housewares, a lot of kitchen items. And as time went on, for the last 3 or 4 years, I started carrying $40,000 to $50,000 worth of inventory every single month in our 3-stall garage, meaning we had to relocate all of our other stuff so that we had room for $40,000 to $50,000 worth of product. At that time, I had one vendor that sold very well on Jane.com. There wasn't a lot of competition. So whenever we ran these 3-day deals, we did very well. I was able to control my schedule of when I wanted to have things shipped, when I wanted to run these particular deals. Mostly from October through December is when I did about 60%. Granted, these were toys, kids items for the Christmas season. Anyway, so I, in the COVID year, 2021 and 2022, sold about $2.5 million a year in products. We shipped 45,000 packages out of my garage. My family helped me, and I had some extended family. My girls that were benefiting from the profit on this were required to help because they were getting, that was money that we made was going into their college fund. And so anyway, a couple of things about this. Like I said, we shipped about $45,000 worth of packages. Some of the problems that we had were with the post office. We had the on-demand delivery, so they picked up every single day. Sometimes they would send a 70-year-old man to pick up 3,000 to 4,000 packages a day. And so then we would have to help load. They'd have to make 5 to 6 trips because we live in a very rural area in Minnesota, so they would have to come 5 or 6 times throughout the day. And half the time they didn't get there by 3 o'clock and they'd miss the deadline. And so then they didn't get shipped within the 2-day period. Other times there'd be delays from FedEx from products coming in. So anyway, Jane's sales started declining in 2022. I did notice quite a bit of a difference. So at that point, I decided that it's probably a good time to diversify a little bit. I was contemplating thinking that I could quit my full-time job and do this. And by the way, I was working 18 to 20-hour days doing this. So this was a huge sacrifice to my family. And so again, in 2022, Jane's sales started to really, really drop off. They had some management changes. They were going to a model where your stuff would be on the site to sell all the time instead of doing the 3-day deal, which took away from the consumer thinking they were getting a very good deal. And it was only available for a limited amount of time, and it created the like, oh gosh, they're gonna run out of this. I need to order it right now. So our sales tanked on Jane.com. A little bit more about Jane as I continue on my journey here to tell you why I quit all of this. So then I thought, well, I'm gonna diversify a little bit. So I looked into selling on Amazon. I had one particular manufacturer that let us sell on Amazon for a period of time. We sold the very first year I decided to sell on Amazon. I wasn't trying incredibly hard. I did some shipments from here for Amazon, quickly realized that two things with Amazon. The return rate is huge. People order off of Amazon, return, you pay for the return. You might as well throw your profit out the window because you get a return and all of your profit margin is absolutely gone with the return, because you get charged the postage back and you also get charged all of these miscellaneous fees, which if anybody can figure out Amazon fees when you get your sheet at the end of the month, good luck. I have an MBA and a CFO experience, and I still can't figure out how much they actually charge you in fees. It's insane. Amazon needs to work on that. So in 2022 and into 2023, I sold about $250,000 a year. No, this is gross on Amazon. My fees were almost half. So if you can only mark your product up 50 to 70% to stay in the range of what these Chinese sellers are selling their items for, there is absolutely no way you can make money on Amazon. I'm totally convinced of it. I can show you our screenshots and our return rates. And I've heard that even clothing is even worse on return rates. I just really would not. I'd be really careful if you wanted to sell on Amazon. Their fees are absolutely insanely high, and you work way too hard to give away at least 20 to 40% of your profits to Amazon. The reason people really like Amazon is the sales are there. You can sell a lot on Amazon. My Amazon experience was less than ideal. We had two big issues with Amazon. Occasionally, I was spending most of my time with all of their emails saying that our products didn't have the child safety certificates, even though we had loaded all of those in. They would deactivate your product and it would be off. I don't know, I would get 5 to 6 emails a day saying that we had a problem with one of our products, or our product had been in their warehouse too long and it is going to get removed. And it was impossible to keep track of all of the inventory for a single seller like myself on Amazon. The second thing that happened with Amazon is we were actually sued for a trademark violation, and this is what broke the camel's back. We had ordered some water balloons from China, and I used the word, I can't remember the name of the word I used. Oh my gosh, I'll edit this video and put it in there. But I had used fillable water balloons. That fillable word is a trademarked name from a company that has a patent and trademarked that name. So anyway, we got a notification that product was removed, and they put our account on hold, like our entire account, for the one violation, we didn't even get a warning. We were just completely shut off. Well, when you're depending on those sales on Amazon, it's horrible. So in order to get in touch with anybody on Amazon, they won't even talk to you. We sold at $250,000 a year, and you cannot actually physically talk to anybody in their trust and safety department. So about 3 weeks later, I got an email with all of the court documents saying that we were being sued for a trademark violation. And we actually had to appear in court over Zoom. Well, they had sued probably about 50 people on this piece of paper. We had to appear in court over Zoom. Okay, well, I wasn't going to hire an attorney to fight a trademark violation for a company in Florida. That's all these people do, is they look all over the internet for their trademark. Then they sue you, and you have to either pay their fee, or you'll never get your Amazon account turned back on. And they keep all of your money. They keep all of your money that you have in Amazon. So we had $17,000, I think, that hadn't been paid out. Amazon held that money for 60 days until we got the court case resolved. So I'm an extremely aggressive person when it comes to being on top of these things. So I called the head of the company, or the lead lawyer at this company in Florida for this Chinese company that was suing us. And I finally got through to the head guy after about 50 emails and 10 voicemails. He finally answered the phone. He knew exactly who I was because I had been emailing him nonstop with no response. Anyway, I told him that was probably not an appropriate way to handle somebody that's being sued. But normally people don't represent themselves. They would hire a lawyer, but I wasn't going to do that. It would have cost me more than the $17,000 that Amazon was holding in our account that they had deemed on hold via their trust and safety department. Anyway, so I decided to, after I went through this whole thing, they wanted me to settle for $5,000. I said, I am not paying you $5,000 for a one-word thing that I used in an Amazon title. But apparently you are responsible for any title that you use. You're supposed to check the trademark and patent department. Now, how many people actually do that? Nobody that I know, unless you have a full team of people that are working in product research or whatever you do if you're a big company. I mean, I'm a one-person that's doing this. Side hustlers beware. Anyway, so I negotiated that down. And the only reason I did this is because I needed to get our money from Amazon released so that I could pay our bills from our business. And granted, this was like 60 days, and we were on a 30-day cash cycle on credit card. That's what I used. I used credit cards to purchase all of our equipment, and I had enough sales that I could turn around and pay those credit cards off. Well, when Amazon decided to hold these funds, I wasn't able to pay the credit cards. So then I was accruing interest on these credit cards, unless I wanted to dip into my personal accounts, which I was just really not willing to do on this particular reason. So anyway, I decided to pay I got it negotiated down, and you're dealing with a Chinese company, so everything happens in the middle of the night. And then when you get a response in the middle of the night, you can't get to it till the next day, and then it's another day. So like they're trying to negotiate this agreement so that they would release my fund, or let Amazon know to release my funds, because we had settled with them. I ended up paying $1,000, and I think I had to wait 1 year before I could talk about my case, because I signed a non-disclosure agreement or something like that. Anyway, I'm not going to name the company because it's a balloon company. If you really want to look it up. Anyway, they're after anybody that's trying to sell balloons. So don't sell balloons on Amazon. But so then 60 days later, they finally sent Amazon that they had negotiated and released the court case against me. And so I had to pay $1,000, like I said, which I still think is absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, that's what broke the back on selling on Amazon. The returns, not being able to figure out the fees, and the fees were so extremely expensive, and getting sued. That's one of the reasons that I decided to not sell on Amazon anymore. So on top of this, at the exact same time, right before, so this all happened in September and October of 2023. In November of 2023, I was still selling very actively on Jane, and they were the ones that we had a pretty big product on there that nobody else really sold. So we were doing really good with one particular manufacturer. Jane's sales had been going down. There were lots of red flags. We were not getting paid every other day like we had been getting paid. Not everything was going really well. They stopped paying. Jane stopped paying their vendors. We would get in a payment maybe once every 3 weeks. So started doing some digging. I had a good relationship with some of my people I'm not going to name at Jane.com, kind of getting the feeling that something, you just get that gut feeling that something's just not right. Their sales were tanking. And this is at our busiest time of the year. I had a $50,000 order of stuffed animals that was going to be arriving at our 3-stall warehouse, and it was going to show up on the Tuesday before Thanksgiving for Black Friday. The week before that, we hadn't been paid in about 2 weeks. I kept sending emails to the CEO, the finance department. They didn't answer anything. Nobody answered anything. No email response. So I was starting to get a little worried. We're a 10-year seller on Jane. It's getting kind of a little ridiculous. So the next step I took is I was getting a little nervous because we had all of this product. We hadn't been paid. All this product coming. We hadn't been paid in 2 weeks. So starting to figure out like this is not good. I kept shipping because I'm an honest seller, and I felt really bad that these people had sent us orders through Jane. We needed to fill the orders, so I kept sending orders. In hindsight, I should have stopped shipping orders because 5 days before Thanksgiving, Jane.com completely shut their doors. They had an all-employee meeting, which is fascinating if you look up Jane.com and how that company actually fell apart. Very, very poorly mismanaged. Their investment group that infused $40 million into that company, 38 million of it went to the owner, and then the owner, it's just insane. This guy totally ripped off all of these sellers. Anyway, so Jane.com closed. They didn't pay us, and we're one particular company out of probably 2,000 people that they owed. They owed us $46,000 at that time. Now, between not getting $46,000 that they owed to us, which it didn't look like we were going to get any of it, and come to find out when they went through their dissolution of assets, they had like I'm going off memory now, $167,000 maybe in the bank. They were able to make payroll to their employees, but they couldn't pay any other vendors or any other creditors. They basically hosed everybody. They hosed their customers because their customers weren't even able to get refunds on stuff they had ordered, and sellers stopped shipping because they weren't getting paid. Anyway, just an absolute disaster. So 5 days before Thanksgiving, so I immediately canceled all of the stuff that was coming because that was our main course of business. Like I said, I had stopped selling on Amazon because of my previous story that I gave you. So anyway, selling on Jane.com. And granted, I had done this for 10 years. I was very educated and knew a lot about selling online. I was actually really, really good at it for a side hustle. So I had to shut down. When you are owed $47,000 from a company that you had no idea was going to close. I have a family and I have bills to pay and I have kids to take care of, and these companies just can't do that to people. They just basically ran it into the ground. They should have let people know months before that they were in a dire financial situation. Come to find out in all of the court documents that we received as sellers, because we're unsecured creditors, you have nothing. You have absolutely nothing to fall back on. We will never collect that money. Jane.com was auctioned off. The website was auctioned off and somebody bought it for $800,000. They owed like $60 million to people. So all those people didn't get a penny. So anyway, at the end of 2023, all of my vendors that I ordered from were very good about letting me return what I had in inventory. I had about $30,000 worth of inventory before I had canceled all of those things. I returned all of it. I shouldn't say we, I am the queen of side hustles. This was a good side hustle for me for about 10 years. I would say my number one thing that I would caution people that are doing product-based businesses is diversify. Be careful of selling on Amazon. We also did, I probably should say this too, we also did sell on Walmart.com. Walmart's site is so clunky to sell on. It was extremely hard to sell on Walmart. And then I also want to talk about shipping. This is another red flag. So we had a shipping account. I would ship 1,000, let's just say 1,000 packages a day. I would have constant adjustments to my shipping account where I was always out of money. They would do these shipping adjustments and you can't argue them. So my scale would say something weighs 6 ounces. It would get to the post office and they would say it weighs 8 ounces. So 60 days later, you'll get a charge for $1 or $2, but you take that times 1,000 packages. I was having $1,000 to $2,000 of adjustments every single day on our postage account. And the post office can do that automatically, and you cannot fight it because you already have sent the package, you've weighed it, you know how much it weighs. They say it weighs different. You can't fight it. You literally cannot get your money back. I feel like we were overcharged thousands and thousands of dollars in shipping. There's got to be a better way to do that for small home-based businesses. So that's the fourth or fifth thing that I've talked about that is a very big disadvantage for side hustlers. So anyway, my husband and I decided to go ahead and close the business at the end of 2023. Now I am a serial entrepreneur. I have YouTube channels. I have other things that I kind of work on. I went through a big withdrawal after I shut this down because I enjoyed having this side hustle and I enjoyed the business aspect of it. So I actually did go through a withdrawal. It is now March of 2024, and I am working mostly on YouTube right now. I do have an MBA, and I do work full time as in a CFO role. So I'm very well educated, and I understand how business works, and I understand how e-commerce and product-based businesses work. So I'm just on here to try to give you some advice, and maybe all these people that are telling you that product-based businesses are really the best side hustle, I would really beg to differ on this. And I'm more than happy to talk to anybody, or if anybody has any questions on product-based businesses. I'm moving more towards content creation now and working maybe with small businesses to kind of give them some advice and look at things from an outside view to kind of see like what their business looks like, and if it's saleable or what is your goals for the business, those type of things. But so as of right now, that is my advice and my experience with product-based business. Probably not something that I would ever do again. A lot of people have success. I find product-based businesses, if you're a small time seller, like under that $2 million a year, there's a lot of liability and a lot of things that can go wrong, and a lot of things that can really hurt you financially. There's other ways or other businesses that I feel are probably a little bit less scary or less risky for the small town, small entrepreneurial minded people. Anyway, that's my take on product-based businesses.